Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and today we are talking healing. And of course, when I say healing, obviously I'm not talking about that process we all realise we haven't quite gone through yet every time we hear someone say, hold the door. I mean, why, Bran? Why did you have to touch that fucking branch thing, Bran? This is all your fault, Bran. Fuck you. And like I say, I haven't quite got over that one yet. But no, we are talking the healers of World of Warcraft Legion. Because you know, healers, they are the most important part of the whole Holy Trinity. By far, because without the healers, who would you blame for a wipe? I mean, the hunters, obviously, but if there were no hunters, then it's definitely the healers' fault. Absolutely. The healers made you stand in that green shit, and they didn't even save you when you got one-shotted by being in front of the boss. And God, now the fucking floors disappeared. Fuck you, healer noob. Legion has seen some pretty big changes to the way that healing classes play, some of which are very significant indeed. So come join us as we look at where each class stands right now. Oh, and before we start, a quick note on the footage I'll be using, which you'll notice is all from the live 7.0.3 patch. This is on purpose. I don't want to show you any Legion dungeons or raids, because, you know, you probably haven't seen them yet, and we don't want to spoil everything, do we? You'll get no spoilers from me. Well, except that Game of Thrones spoiler right at the very beginning. But apart from that, you'll get no spoilers from me. Okay, without further ado, go, 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 go. Now, we could have also easily awarded this Discipline Priest section the most controversial title, because the changes this class has gone through for Legion have been less popular than Bill Cosby's wine tasting weekends. People have gone absolutely nuts on the forums about Discipline. This probably wasn't helped by Blizzard specifically saying that Disc wouldn't be much use in Mythic Plus dungeons. I mean, no one wants to hear that, do they? It's like being told that your penis is brilliant at knitting, but rubbish at literally anything else. But the thing is, and I'm saying this as someone that mains a Discipline Priest, Disc needed to change. For too long, life has been too easy for Discipline. They've been topping the healing charts by essentially negating the need for any healing at all, throwing absorbs around like sweets, and giving all the other healers less work to do than Brendan Fraser's booking agent. And that's not fun for anybody. No, not even for us Discipline Priests, I promise. So everyone knew that once again, Blizzard would ring the changes on Discipline, and everyone knew that once again, they'd probably get it wrong. Except, you know what? This time, they might just have gone and got it right. No, seriously, the Discipline Priests still have the only really reliable casual absorb in the game, well, two actually, but it's no longer spammable. And of course now they do around 80% of their healing directly from causing damage, with heals going out to anyone they've applied the atonement buff to in advance. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's going to have more balancing issues than Starbucks tax return, but somehow, this time, it just works. In terms of hard numbers, Discipline now naturally lags behind the purer healing classes, but the damage that they put out is considerable, and the play style is really, seriously fun. Discipline Priests have always been about predicting damage and thinking about incoming boss mechanics, sometimes minutes in advance, and that's still the case. But now, instead of mindlessly and indiscriminately throwing out bubbles like a jacuzzi, you are like Pamela Anderson. You are always engaged. You are always actively doing something, either by applying atonement through plea or power word radiance, or really letting loose with a DPS. And when all that falls into place, when it all clicks and those green numbers start flying, especially if you're using the Light's Wrath artifact talent, then there's a real sense that you've earned it. And there's no doubt the skill ceiling for Discipline has just been raised. That's bound to upset some people, but I hope those people give it some time, put in the effort, because the way this class plays right now is more satisfying than squeezing a blackhead into your ex's suit. It may not top the meters in Legion, but it is viable. It's worthy of a raid spot, and in my humble opinion, it's the most honest, gosh darn fun than any other spec on this list. And you know what? That's why I play this game, is to have fun. So I'm a happy twat at the moment. Holy Paladins pick up where they left off in Warlords by being the go-to tank healer in Legion. So nothing's changed, right? Well, actually no, because you know Holy Power? It's gone. Seals? It's like they never happened. Holy Radiance? Schmoly Schmadiance? Denounce? Renounced. Okay, look, you get the idea. Holy Pallies have lost a lot of chaff. But don't worry, because if WoD Holy is old Khadgar, then Legion Holy is new Khadgar. Very familiar, but leaner, sexier, and someone that you suddenly want to get up close and personal to. Because Holy's new mastery means that the closer you are to your targets, the more healing they get by up to 12%. Which is interesting in itself, because your raid positioning has just changed from here to here. Look, I want to make one thing clear. Us healers aren't used to this. We don't like it here. We like it here where it's nice and safe. We don't like it here, but we're doing it. We're doing it for you, okay? Otherwise, it is pretty much business as usual for the Holy Paladin, with a slightly weakened Holy Beacon and a smorgasbord of damage mitigating auras, making them a required raid spot for tank healing. Even if their cooldowns are underwhelming and their raid healing is trivial, that doesn't matter in the slightest. Just pop yourself next to the tank. Yes, no, seriously, next to the tank. Go on, get in there. Go on, you're not wearing plate for nothing, you know. It's fine. It'll be fine. I promise. I almost promise. Okay, let's not muck around because Resto Shaman is one of the big boys of Legion healing and will be an absolute required pick for progressive raiding. Quite simply, where large groups of people are packed together, there is no one better than a Shaman to heal them. But first things first, what's changed? Not a super amount, to be honest. More niche totems like the grounding totem have been pruned or made PvP only, and changes to the talent tree as well as the perks that will be coming with the artifact just give Resto a bit more versatility than before. We're not major versatility, we're talking more Tom Hardy than Daniel Day-Lewis, but we're miles away from Keanu Reeves, put it that way. So whereas 5-mans aren't really a Resto's thing, and targeted healing and tank cooldowns are pretty lame, and they're not at their best when there's a large spread, Restoration Shaman have the tools to really pump out strong, sustained healing numbers to see a raid through huge burst damage, and coupled with a really great mobility with Spirit Walker's Grace, and the fact that they have awesome non-healing uses too, like Windrush Totem, which gives nearby players a 60% speed boost for 5 seconds, means that there is plenty of scope for really getting the best out of a Resto in Legion. Now, having said that, it is a relatively straightforward thing to get some good numbers at Resto straight out the box at the moment, which is absolutely great for a total noob like me. I've got to be honest, I feel like a god when I play Resto. Get used to seeing a lot of these guys around throughout the expansion. Okay, look, I'm just going to come straight out and say this. I was not a fan of Mistweaver in Warlords of Draenor. They had a ton of mechanics that should have been fun, but I never managed to find especially satisfying in practice, which is why I was glad to see Mistweavers do a Jonah Hill and make some pretty massive changes for Legion. A bit like Discipline Priests, Mistweaver is essentially a whole new spec, but unlike Disc, it's got some really good numbers and a fair bit of flexibility to it as well, just like, oh no, the Jonah Hill analogy doesn't work anymore, sorry Jonah. Soothing Mists no longer dominates your rotation as it's mostly a passive ability, which is awesome because I fucking hated Soothing Mists. And like all secondary resources for healers, Chi has been removed, which I think is probably a good thing, but it does mean that while Mistweavers are very versatile, they have excellent spot healing with Enveloping Mists and really good raid healing with Essence Font, which is a smart AoE and looks super cool, which is super important, I promise. It's going to be a bit of an either or with Mistweavers. It's going to be either spot healing or either raid healing. Those two spells are very mana intensive, and using them both extensively isn't really an option. Fist Weaving still exists to an extent, but only through talents, and although it's used mostly as a mana regeneration mechanic, I don't think you'll be using it as much as in Warlords of Draenor, like your garrison. So Mistweaver is a good, solid healer, and more importantly, in my opinion, I think it plays a lot smoother and more naturally than it ever has, and this is not only great news, but a really pleasant surprise too. Like turning on your TV and learning that Hulk Hogan hasn't said anything racist today. Thanks, Hulk. I'm having a really good time with Mistweaver at the moment, which I really wasn't expecting. And just like Socks the Kitten, Monk Healing is in a good place right now, so enjoy it. Now don't be put off by that title. Is there a more classic healer than the Holy Priest? Expansion after expansion, there they are, ambling along, never being terrible, but never having much unique or exciting about them either. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I quite like Holy at the moment. They've gone through some fundamental reworkings, which now sees them a lot more streamlined and focused. There's a clarity to Holy Priests now. No, not clarity of will, that's Disc Priest, keep up. Now, first up, most importantly, chakras are gone, which I think is worth having a little party about, to be honest, because now Holy can revel in being pretty much the standard healer. You basically use your standard, less powerful heals like Heal, Flash Heal, Prayer of Healing to reduce the cooldown on the bigger hitters like Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify, and top it off with some truly powerful cooldowns like Guardian Spirit, which is one of the most useful raid cooldowns in the game, and Symbol of Hope and Apotheosis. And those are cooldowns that any raid could use. I mean, they fit in anywhere, like Rachel Dolezal. Now, you might think that I'm slagging Holy off here by using words like standard, like I'm trying to make them sound boring, but I'm not. Holy is like the Ryu or Ken of WoW healers. It's the Soldier 76, if you will. The Mario or Luigi in Super Mario Kart does everything you'd expect with a minimum fuss and does it pretty well. Shit like Chakra's just got in the way of that. Holy is more fun now than it has been for fucking ages, and I'm super happy about that. Okay, so you don't really have any sustained tank healing, and Divine Hymn is still the worst throughput channel in the game, but there's a real sense of purpose and identity about Holy again, which is very, very welcome indeed. Now let's be honest here, I can talk about how fun discipline priests are until the cows come home, or until Elijah Wood actually manages to age, like seriously, one day. But we all know why you're watching this video. Who is the best, balls out, top of the meters healer going to be in Legion? Well, if you've popped into LFR at all since 7.0 hit, then you'll notice there's been an abundance of a certain class making up the healers. And I'll let you a little secret here. They haven't all suddenly started playing Resto Druid because they really like the spell animations, okay? Put it that way. Yes, it's Restoration Druids that will be largely topping the meters in this expansion at the moment. So first, the bad news. Life Bloom is no longer refreshed by regrowth or healing touch. Yeah, I know, give a shit, right? Oh, and with Demon Hunters joining the raid gang, there's going to be even more players fighting over your precious leather gear drops. But you know what? That's about it. At the moment, it kind of seems that all the things that were really good about Resto Druids have just got better in Legion. It's like if Patrick Stewart somehow got an even more English accent, or if this cat somehow gave a single less fuck. Like, okay, so you know how Tranquility is awesome? Well, how about we give you traits and talents that let you cast it loads more often and move while you do it? Oh, you like putting hots on people, yeah? Well, how about a new mastery that increases your healing depending on how many hots are on them? Iron Bark, a really good damage reduction spell? How about we give it the shortest damage reduction cooldown in the game? You know, it wouldn't surprise me if somewhere in one of these spells there's a proc that makes a virgin unicorn trot on and give you a massage just to make sure you're okay, you know? Basically, whether you're raiding or dungeoning, Restoration Druid is going to take some serious beating in the meters. And it's quite fun to play too, but let's not pretend that that matters, shall we? Look at those sweet, sweet meters. So that's how the healers are looking to me in Legion at the moment, guys. How are you feeling about the changes? What are you going to be rolling in Legion? Let us know in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did like it, you can like it if you like, and subscribe. If you subscribe, then we promise we will make more videos. If you didn't enjoy it, downvote the shit out of it. And remember, my name is Mr. Games Master Reviews. Now, my name is Taliesin of Taliesin and Evertel. Check out some more of our videos on screen now, and genuinely, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, guys. I know there's a plethora of wonderful World of Warcraft content out here at the moment, and I'm pleased as punch that you've chosen to spend these few minutes with us. Until next time, Internet, cheerio.